that's our quest. But that quest, how deep down it is, and what other quests are also existing in our personality, in our psyche, that's also a matter of investigation. To just put it in that other way, the simplified way, that we are made of two different segments. Our personality we can segregate in two different ways. One is a material aspect, another is a spiritual or conscious aspect. Okay, and mixture of or combined of two is what we are. Our current personality is. Okay, so what happens that by default both sides of our personality will try to fulfill itself, the material aspect as well as spiritual aspect, both. So we have urge at both sides, both directions. The end result we want the same. The end result is a happiness. But the direction are two different. One is the physical or the material side, what we call is the nature or the world. These are the another synonymous words. And another is from the conscious side, or there is a synonymous word from God, okay, from spirituality, like that. Okay, from both sides what we want is a happiness. From both sides what we want is a peace, contentment. That is ultimate end result we want. Okay. Now, I remember one great master, what he says, Paramahansa Yogananda. What he says in his teaching, that as long as there are the grosser desires of happiness, no doubt, grosser means the sides from the material. Still, as long as there are grosser desires in one's own mind, the subtler or the spiritual desires will be subsided, will be underneath these grosser desires. That's the law. Okay. So unless those are fulfilled and those are completely eradicated, you cannot fulfill for good. This spiritual urge cannot be worked upon. Okay. Or if it is worked upon, it will be partial one, like that. So that is the fact also. And for that, it is necessary that what we gain from the world out there, we again and again re-understand it. What is the outcome of our pursuit in the world out there? Why? So that in our intellect, in our psyche, we make a conscious conclusion about the end results from the world. That is necessary. And then our quest for the spiritual awakening will be intense most. Then it will be intense most. Otherwise, what happens that our psyche is also stuck somewhere in the world, that maybe I can have some joy from the world in different areas of whatever my outlook is, and from the spirituality. It always remains the scattered one, And here, in order to gain the knowledge of the self, to know oneself, it is necessary that with entirety we try for the pursuit of the knowledge of the self. It is necessary. And that's why our rishis also gave a lot of knowledge, the understanding about the phenomena of the world out there. Okay. So, which way? So that we understand the entire phenomena in our psyche, in our intellect, and make a conscious, intelligent conclusion about the nature of the world. That is necessary. Otherwise, our psyche will keep roaming in the world out there. Okay. So, the end result, what we want, happiness, the contentment, etc. For that, we have the instruments which we call the body, which includes all the senses, the mind, which is the locus of the various emotions, the desires, etc., and the intellect, which is a locus of the rationalizing, the logical analyzing faculty. Okay. We have these three faculties: the body, mind, and intellect. We can also say body and mind, but there are like two distinct faculties. That's why we are segregating it as a mind and intellect. By using these three faculties, we fulfill our desires in the world out there. Okay. And the sign of an intelligent person is that would definitely assess again and again that whatever time and energy I have invested, okay, did it bear the fruit what I wanted? Okay, that's the sign of an intelligent person. And see, we all are spiritual seeker. We all have done various different sadhanas also, the meditations, even Shravana also, mass blessings, other great masters' blessings. Okay, and that has enriched our journey, and enthusiasm is also gained by all these different experiences. But still, there might be, or there are some lingering thoughts or lingering desires which hook us in a material side. Okay, some conscious or some or many subconscious. Okay, so the Vedas give us comprehensive view about various type of pursuits, so that again and again we reassert ourselves. Okay, not that maybe next time I'll get joy, this time so far I didn't get, but maybe next time. That hope always there, towards world out there. There is a hope always. Maybe this place will suffice me. So that part, we need to see what is the truth about it. So the Rishi says like that using our faculties, the body, mind and intellect, we fulfill our desires in the world out there, and each action naturally bears the result, and that result has its own stamp of the nature in the fruit as well. What is that stamp? The stamp is that result is naturally bound by the limitations of time and space and actions. Means result is also limited. Okay. Result is also limited in terms of contentment, joy also, because what we are relying on is a particular fruit, particular result, particular in form of any object, in form of any position, in form of any visiting some place, anything like that, etc. So, if you put it in a generalized way, these results are threefold. Like instruments are threefold. Okay, the body, the mind and intellect. Even the results of whatever we try after are threefold. One, the first, that result will be in form of healthy body. Result would be in form of like pampered body. We enjoy like different fruits, different food and place, and different sources of enjoyment. We get all this luxury and all. That's one area. Okay. Right now I'm talking about generalized version. We can have all different kind of examples. Okay. Say for example, result also in form of more conducive environment. Okay, more luxurious environment. Say for example, if the cities are crowded so much, I would like to go in a countryside. Right? If countryside is feeling boring, I would go to city. Or I change the environment, as per my psyche, my mindset. It goes on that way. So that's also at a body level. That environment I want proper. I get healthy body, healthy senses, all that. That also becomes a result of my particular actions. Means that is also area of my desire. That I want to remain fitter, beautiful, attractive, whatever, blah blah. So that's one area. Second area of results is naturally that my mental capacity would be such that I derive joy out of my external situations, my present moments. Not that my mind is so weak and so fragile that I cannot derive joy out of the relations I have, the environment I have, all that. So the mental capacity is also conducive for sustained joy. Okay, that also is one of the result. Or even if you go further in that line, that even the adverse situation also, my mind won't break down. Okay, the strength of the mind, that's also a result. Okay, and right now so far we are talking about in the area of the world only. Okay, so most results we generally find in the area of the body. Okay, where I want certain setup, security, etc., money, bank balance, this, that. Then area of mind, where the mind is such a way it is carved or nurtured that I have sustained joy in my daily life. Okay, and for that I do consciously certain projects, or I just maneuver my daily life, whatever I do. But that's the area of a result. And third area of result is naturally my intellect, my faculty of knowledge becomes sharper. Okay, I be more conscious about my window of life. I may not know everything about the world, but my window of life, whatever area of life I am touching upon, I know better. So that I don't get fooled by certain ignorance-based wrong decisions. That's also another result. Okay, like we see that that okay, I should know better, that I should plan better. If I'm in a business area, I should know that what competition is and all this, what kind of product and changing dynamics of the consumer interest and what not. So whatever my window of life is, I should know. That's also a result. Okay, so these are the three areas, like three instruments in three areas, And measure, I say that our yardstick is that at the body level, how things are, my body, my health, and second, that all the equipments, all the objects of joy. Okay, and the third is the environment around. If I'm fit enough and I don't have objects of enjoyment, what good is my fitness? like that. If we say, for example, I'm healthy, no disease, I can eat whatever I can, but I don't have food enough, then no point. I need a combination. Okay? If I have a combination, I feel I'm in a heaven. That's all I want, because that's what the physical aspect, physical personality is satisfied, and that gives a feeling that now there is nothing else to be needed. We all have felt that. Okay, one way or another. If your body is fit, okay, everything is fine, we say. We can digest food, all is well. And we have, like if we change the environment and since in a good surroundings, like say for example, we came here, this is like a divine place naturally, but then we say, yes, life is beautiful. Everything, mostly I would say, most things are connected with our physical body. And with these three areas, our body is fit, healthy and all. We have objects of joy, and then we have conducive environment. All three combination. See, if your body is fit, objects of joys are there, but if you are surrounded by slum, then say, no, this is not a right place. This is not a right place to live in. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go Europe. Or whatever, like that. So that's how it goes on. That's the that's the natural demand of physical side, material side of our personality. This is how the material side gets fulfilled. That's what the material side is demanding. If it's fulfilled, then material side is satisfied, and then there is a response from within that, okay, I got what I want from life. Okay, but there is a big but. What? There is a big thing is that whatever I gained is not gonna stay permanently with me. Okay, and my joy is entirely dependent on these three different areas. My joy is dependent on this. Okay, especially the material aspects, the objects, the surroundings, the physical body, etc. Okay, and this entire area is in a state of flux. Means there is a constant change. There is a constant change into it. So I am compelled to match the change, so that my joy, what I derive from the world, I get in a sustained way. I keep getting that joy. I keep getting that peace or happiness. So I have to keep moving. I have to keep dancing on the tune of the world or the change. And that particular constant movement or constant effort, the strive, is against my joy and peace. See, so miss, we have to remain disturbed in order to get peace. We have to remain disturbed in order to get joy, sustained joy. That's the story of the world, or that's the story of the joy from the world. Okay, so that's one. Second, even though I have to again keep working on it. Second is, even though I get some joy, that joy will never suffice me. Unless till I gain that joy or that object, that person or whatever, that particular object is great in my mind. It has some some great place in my mind. Moment I get it, it becomes insignificance. Like my nephew is in Canada. He said that he just expressed his query and his problem also. He says that till I surf in Amazon, I'm in a euphoria that wow, what a great object, and I'm just checking different rates and what is the discount and how much time it will take to deliver, and I'm excited, he says. And then he says, okay, I'm just going through all the process of ordering, and once I hit that order button and pay button, payment is done, I don't know what happens within me, and all of a sudden all my excitement is punctured. Now I am not excited anymore. Even, you see, this is what happens in even the next generations, even though they have not seen the product is just to be delivered to their house. The excitement is gone. Okay, so that's the issue. It means that till you have that object, the object is great in your mind. Once object is gained, it can be any person, any vehicle, any house, or anything, anything. Yeah. Then the mind is always wandering towards what I don't have. That's the state of a mind, always. What I don't have. Mind will start wandering in the area. The same thing happens in not only in our daily personal life, also in a business. We see in earning also we see. We are never satisfied with our bank balance. It always seems to be low. We means what? Our material side. It will be always, the material side will be always in some state of the fear, some micro panic also. Maybe if I have some more some big disease or something that I have to drain my money, then how long I can sustain? All these different worries are always there as a background music. Yes. So where it happens? In our material side. Okay, so that's another one. And another, the limitation of this gains in a material side is that even though I have made my lifestyle such a way that I have constant sustained joys in from the objects, from the surroundings, etc., over the time I am bound by all these objects. I am bound by my own lifestyle. Okay. I am bound by my own luxury, what we call comfort zone. I am locked, I am jailed in my comfort zone. Okay, that itself is suffocating me also. Okay, that itself is suffocating me also. Okay, so these are different kind of limitations from material side. The sign of an intelligent person would know the limitation as well. Not that only blinded by whatever good is there. What joy the material side offers, not only that side one sees, but also sees what the flop side is, what the dark side is. It has its own limitations. It has power to bind ourselves. We want freedom, but what we do as a result, we get opposite of freedom. We get bound by our own achievements. Okay, and nobody wants that. Okay, and that can happen. Now I'm talking in the line of the sadhakas also, spiritual seekers also. That can also happen for those who are seekers, because still there is a material side lingering. Okay, so when though the simpler things we have, or the seeker will have simpler things, small things, less things, but still unconsciously one will be hooked towards that simple things, small things. Okay. So that's one side. And there is another side also. Okay, another side is naturally the conscious, the spiritual side, spiritual personality of ours. And there is an urge to manifest that side as well. Okay, there is an urge. And there is an urge to gain joy, bliss through that manifestation as well. Okay, the way material side. Okay, but who will exercise that area, that side? Okay, because I told in the beginning that the great master says that as long as there are material desires, okay, there is a pressure of material desires, all the spiritual desire will be suffocating within, beneath. It will be like that. Okay, so who can exercise the spiritual unfoldment of oneself? Those who has risen above the pressure of these material desires. Okay. And how? By observing the end results. By living the life intelligently. By living the life through the eyes of the Vedas, the great masters, understanding the phenomena of the life material aspect. Okay. Because one thing is very beautiful in our intellect. The beautiful is that we always look for or always vote for the higher thing. Even we go in a shop or we surf in Amazon, we like what is the better one, what is the best one, Why? Because that's how our intellect is, rather I would say, partial towards the best. If I just say more precisely, our intellect is partial towards truth. Okay. Once we know what is true or what is untrue, at least what we know and what is untrue, we will be cold towards that particular area. That is fact. That is definitely a fact. We know some person who is like a friend of mine or associate or whatever. If we just know only once that person is lying, so naturally we will be alert. Okay. Why? Because I don't want that particular treatment. I want the best treatment. So my point is it's matter of understanding very simpler way also, or after having a 10,000 experience also, whichever way, But we need to understand the futileness of this material side. Then and then we'll give entire our energy in a spiritual unfoldment, which is necessary. Spiritual unfoldment is not possible as observing one of 20 different pursuits. Spiritual unfoldment is like one of 20 different things I'm doing. So then one won't get success. Okay. It might be some action. It might be some sadhana also. So, okay. Let's put it that way also. But still with not a deep conviction. That's what I meant. Okay. So, understanding of futileness is necessary. And then we give more share or max share of our psyche, our energy towards the spiritual unfoldment. And that's where even to understand the futileness also, that Vedas, our great masters, the scriptures are helping us just to open our eyes, because many of us, humans, are blinded by the mesmerizing, fast or easy results or easy joys of the world. It's quite easy to get lost in the world, So the great masters also help in that area. That's why even I just remember my statement, Hari Katha hi Katha, Baki Sab Vrutha Vyatha. Maya says like that. The rest is like all this, like a vrutha, futile. So masters also help us open our eyes towards this fact. This is a fact, and we can test it even 10,000 times. So we can verify it like that. So that's one. And then such person, such individual, when one has risen above the urge or the pressure of the material pursuits and material gains, one is available. Like you all are available, One is more and more available for spiritual unfoldment. Okay. And what is the area? Like, to gain joy from the world, you just rush out there. Okay. And to gain the joy of the self, the bliss, what is the area? You go within. Okay. So one should go within. Now the issue comes that one tries to go within, say meditation or different practice. What one finds, that one who is like a full of all imperfections, different kind of conflicting emotions and whatnot, or some inertia, some euphoria, whatever, all these things what one experiences, and naturally the reaction comes that, you see, what Master says or what Vedas says, that I am a bliss infinite, but I find myself is that I am a finite fool, Yes. So still there is something else to be seen or something else to be done, rather. Okay. So in this line, that even the scriptures or the Vedas, even masters are nothing but, master and the scriptures are the same thing. Okay. Like two sides of the same coin. Masters and the Vedas. Two sides of the same coin. Okay. The words of the master becomes easier for us to understand because they customize as per our mental frame, So the Vedas, now just say Veda says, okay, see, there is a reason why one is not able to experience one's own bliss nature. Okay. So that reason one need to understand and then work on it. Okay. And what's the reason? The reason is that one's own mind is having impurities. So one need to identify the impurities, the type of impurities, and naturally the Vedas also give the solution. Okay. The impure mind cannot go within, okay, and cannot taste the nectar of self. It's not possible. Okay. And what impurity is? Impurity is that materialism. The very materialism is impurity. Yes. And that's why it's necessary that we rise above this desire pressure. It's very much necessary, It's not that I want to experience the self and I'll meditate and it will happen. Well, it all depends. But it's not wish based only. Okay. Wish or desire is very important. Congratulations, yes, that we have that desire, but you have to work for it. The way we work for fulfilling our desire in the world, external world, same way internal as well. And
no, I wanted to ask Swamiji, if we are going from the material to the spiritual, it might need some level of purity to go that side.
It all depends. Maybe I'll just repeat for this sake, so that it goes there. The question is that if you want to switch over from material to spiritual, we might need some level of purity in order to be eligible for switch over. So might be the case, but over there is very many different ways. One, I would say, yes, the purity. Okay, the purity, because the power of purity is so simply crystal that one can see the limitations or dark side of the material side, and one can get attracted by the divine side. That's one. Okay, but it comes by various different ways. It comes by again, masters and Vedas prescribe various different sadhanas, seva, sharing, helping. Okay, and there is another very strange way also one may switch over, by pain, by such an extreme pain from the material side. One says it's enough.
Death of a relative or something.
Something, yes, some shock, and that shock is so intense that shock is updating, refining one's own chemistry. Okay, but yes, that such shock can only update one's chemistry who has certain purity already. Otherwise doesn't happen. So those shocks are nothing but like a last stroke, towards switching over. So all these things are there, but purity is the main thing. So relative purity is necessary. So that's the base. How to gain? There are various many different ways. Few are there, and individual based there are so many. Customizations are of so many different levels. Okay, so it is like if I just put it more simpler way, person is completely blinded. Okay, another version, the person is able to see or feel certain things, blurred vision. So those with the blurred vision can identify the shortcomings of this material side. And naturally the intellect definitely wants higher, better, so are ready to drop. And once the individual gets something higher, it will drop like a hot potato. Yes. So this is how we can put it up. Okay, so that's about it. Okay, so it's all about how we can switch over. But we should remember that switching over means that our primary pursuit is the spiritual side, but still secondary remains there. Okay, still some hope, still some ways of joys, still some habits, some lifestyle, all this. Okay, which will act as a hook. Okay, it will act as a hook naturally. Okay, so we don't have 10,000 hooks, but still say 50 hooks. Right? So that thing also we should be clear about. Okay, that's which we should be clear about. Not that we don't need to be self-illusioned that that many things are okay. That many certain things are okay. It is necessary, or we justify and all. So the acute spiritual seeker would only take what is true. Okay, that's the bottom line. Okay, so switching over is done, and now one is trying to identify or experience the joy from within, and there is an obstacle. One finds the same old that miserable guy within, and sometimes when one tries to find within, one's misery intensifies. That also happens. Say, I don't want to meditate, one person will say, because I see all the flaws within me, and all these the devils come out, and I have to face them and all. It's better to get lost in the world. That's what they. But how long? Naturally, again, one has to face oneself. So then now, how I should address this issue of mine? How I should address this issue of mine? That becomes the primary agenda. Naturally, long-term agenda is that only that I experience my bliss nature. My nature which is bliss. But then this primary agenda becomes now my pursuit, immediate. And that agenda can be handled, taken care by various different spiritual practices. Undoing the coils what we have made unconsciously previously. And that's where very many customization also happens. The way we have customized lifestyle in a gross world, material world, we have our own habits and lifestyle, this, that. Same way, we need to customize our spiritual sadhanas as well. The way we keep changing our the gross world setup, same way we need to keep changing our spiritual sadhana setup as well. It's dynamic. It's quite dynamic. Okay. So that particular area comes up as a main area of work. Okay. And over there, various different sadhanas as per our constitution, as per our coiling, as per our conditioning, we need to undergo. Okay. And in that also, the Guru, the scriptures, the Vedas are quite helpful. Quite helpful. Because certain things we know about ourselves, and most things we don't know about ourselves. Okay. So that's where we get help from those who has reached the goal or far ahead of us. It is just like the seniors help out the juniors. That way also, or the teacher help out the student. Both. Okay. So that part again becomes my main pursuit. Okay. And that will make me more stable in the spiritual lifestyle as well. Okay. And as the cleansing happens, I start getting the joy, the peace and contentment. Not that, when everything is done, 100% cleansing done, then only I'll start getting joy. No. As the cleansing happens, I get my joy, my bliss, my contentment from within. That's also beauty. Okay. And those peace, contentment are far more stable than the peace or joy we get from the world out there. Far more stable. Still it may go, because again subject to my state of mind. Subject to state of mind. For why I'm telling that? Because say at present or this phase of a time, my mind is behaving quite energetic or more conducive. That state is peaceful, blissful. It may happen that some desire pops up which is strong enough to make a turmoil out of peaceful state of mind. So things are there. Again, we need to understand the facts. We need to understand what are the inner mechanisms, okay, so that we don't get caught or we don't get shocks also, both. Okay. So if I just tell in a nutshell, because we need to go in Upanishad, that this sadhanas makes us qualified. One, it gives us more stable peace and joy. That's one. And second, this sadhanas makes us qualified to know our true nature. Okay. Qualification is necessary in each and every field. Say material, say spiritual. Okay. Of course, it can be judged by a level of purity only. Okay. In a simpler way. Okay. But that purity is also well addressed in Vedas. Okay. It's called sadhana chatushtaya. That the one is full of discrimination. One can understand, one can distinguish right from wrong. One can distinguish permanent from impermanent. One can distinguish again divine from the material, etc. One has power of dispassion. The way the viveka or discrimination is also power, same way dispassion is also power. Vairagya. One has a very good control over one's own faculties, one's own body, senses, mind, intellect. It's in quite a very much orientation with the truth. Okay. Or towards the truth, or other way around, one is quite more disciplined.
The truth with the abhyas aspect, or what's the term?
Abhyas?
Yeah, because we had vairagya.
Yes. And the viveka, discrimination, the dispassion, discipline. Okay.
Sanskrit term.
A Sanskrit term, okay. Oh, I got it. So one is a viveka, second is a vairagya, and discipline is called, is a little long, shamadhi shata sampatti. There is a sixfold disciplines, basically. Sixfold disciplines, which called shama, dama, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, samadhan. Sixfold discipline. See, the purity of mind includes all these things. Okay. So that is also been very nicely addressed by our scriptures. And fourth D is desire for liberation. No? See, such pure individual only would know that I am bound. Others, I am happy, I just need little more happiness. That's all. And I can manage, all this. Personally, look, I am bound. Okay. I want absolute freedom. And I can make it. Okay. So that's another sign of a pure mind. Okay. That's also a sign of a pure mind, that one has the desire for liberation, desire for absolute freedom. desire for knowing oneself. Who am I? See, desire is a necessary. Without desire, our energies won't concentrate. The desire is the point where all our energies get focused, concentrated. Just like a magnifying glass effect with the sun. The only sun cannot burn the grass or piece of paper, but when there is a magnifying glass, it will burn in a time. Same acts by the desire. Our all mental energies won't work against our own ignorance unless we have desire. Desire for knowledge, desire to know God, desire to be one with the God, all they are synonymous. So, the sign of a pure mind is the one has this strong desire. Okay. So, discrimination, dispassion, discipline and desire. Okay. So, such person, one who has worked on oneself, sadhana and various meditations and japa, anusthana, seva, tyaga, aparigraha, yama niyama, there are many ways one can look at this area. Gita angle, Daivi Sampatti, that's what in a Gita class I'm just teaching in the morning. So that also. All falls in this area. Once one is eligible by having all these 4 Ds, purity of mind is such, one is fit enough to know one's own self. And how one will know the self? Of course, there are again ways the Guru can teach, okay? And what Guru will teach? The Vedanta. Okay. And of course, there are various ways to teach the oneness, okay? The Vedanta or the Vedas, the end portion of the Veda, the knowledge portion of the Veda, is teaching this knowledge of the self or oneness of the self. Okay. And that particular way of knowing self is called Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. Okay. That engaging our faculties to know or understand what Vedanta or Upanishad says, okay, with help of the teacher, okay, with help of the teacher, not with the self-study, with help of the teacher, qualified teacher, not anybody.
Not Google.
Not, of course, not a Google. Yes. Chat GPT. I was going to say that AI, now AI agents, what we can say is customized agents is the next future, So whatever we ask, in a seconds the answer will become, or microsecond answer will be there, So not that way. Okay. We can try and just check it out, no issues. So by the qualified teacher, need to know this eternal self, eternal truth of Upanishad. That's again, it's also a long journey. It's a long journey, followed by contemplation about the nature of the self. Okay. And followed by meditation on the nature of the self. Okay. Meditation is ultimate, yes. But before meditation, these 2 highest steps are also necessary. Otherwise, there will be question that, okay, my mind is quiet, now what next? And that what next will disturb my mind. Okay. So, that meditation, which is called technically Nididhyasana, or Gurudev Swami Chinmaya says very nicely, contemplation meditation, rather, is a deep contemplation, it's not a thoughtless state. It's not a thoughtless state. So each and every procedure or the areas are quite a big, that we need a lot of time, energy or life to go into it. And it guarantees, if we sincerely and methodically, properly go through, we get the result. Because spirituality is based on the process. Okay. For that process, naturally some actions are there. For cleansing also, cleansing of the mind also. And for this Shravana, Manana and Nidhyasana also, some actions are there. But mainly there is a process. How much process happens within, that matters. Okay. So these are the deep internal process. It's called Shravana. It's not mere hearing or something or memorizing. It may help, okay, it's fine. We can add on. We can incorporate. But actually it is a process. Manana or contemplation is a process. And this process doesn't mean some mechanical process. Okay, is a actual live intuitive process. Some name I have to give. So that's why I'm giving it for process. And same the Nididhyasana. Okay, or contemplation meditation. And throughout this process of Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana, the Vedanta or Upanishad is a pivotal, is a primary help. So that much important Upanishad is. Okay. And there are Upanishads, there are many Upanishads, and out of so many Upanishads, we're gonna try to learn this Kaivalya Upanishad. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om. Jai Maa.